It's a good thing I moved over to Twitch. All right, let's take a look at this.
It sucked.
Okay, here I want to make sure we get this this intro here. Look at these figurines. He's got a little link to the past. That's what is that, like gay Ganondorf? I don't even know what the hell that is. The Millennium Falcon over there. Okay. All right. Let's go.
It sucked.
It sucked. Okay.
I made a mistake recently, and I resubscribed to World of Warcraft.
Okay.
I saw the news about the expansion coming out, Battle for Azeroth, and I kind of got caught up in the hype. I wanted to come back and see what the game looked like after
like 2 months ago.
a few years. I haven't played since Mists of Pandaria, but I've been playing on and off ever since the very beginning of the game, even technically before, because I played in the open beta as a dwarf mage, I remember. My first character was a level 60 paladin.
Could they be mages?
I'd like to call back to my experience of classic World of Warcraft.
Okay.
To, I guess, warn people, or to remind those people who had experienced the game before, that I don't think people are going to take to classic World of Warcraft the way some people think they will.
Ooh, okay.
We need to remember that
a different opinion.
World of Warcraft is 15 years old at this point. I discovered, this was unrelated to me resubscribing, but after I got back into the game, I discovered that there would be some demo servers up for BlizzCon.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I think in 2019, classic World of Warcraft will be making a comeback, which is very interesting to me, and I think may very well be the first case of a HD remake of an MMORPG. But a 15-year-old game will show its age, just as I am. I am just turned 29 years old.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That means I was 14 or 15 when I first started playing the World of Warcraft.
All right.
And I think some of the reasons that people will perhaps hate Classic as much as I do, while I remember it fondly, I think I hate it. I think I hated it because, first of all, the leveling takes too freaking long.
Too freaking long.
I remember
too freaking long
when I had time. I don't have time anymore. I'm 29 years old, and even though I'm not married, I don't have a family,
how you get the figurines?
I do have a job.
How you make the Gundam? So I have
at most maybe 1 or 2 hours a day
to make figurines
into games, period.
Okay.
And if I'm playing World of Warcraft, that means that's pretty much the only thing that I'm playing. And it's a banner day if I can play it for 2 hours. And what's great playing modern World of Warcraft, and I guess we're in patch 8.1 or whatever, is that you can level pretty quickly. Actually, just before making dinner in the precious hour that I had after work, I was able to level up from 35 to 37 on my warrior. Go back in time 15 years. Let's time walk back 15 years. And you can maybe level up 35 to 36 in what? Maybe like an evening when all you do is play World of Warcraft for like 4 or 5 hours?
Yeah.
As I could have done.
Yeah.
Back in high school, back when I had no obligations, back when I could just come home at 3 o'clock and do whatever I wanted because I was a kid. Remember that World of Warcraft saw its biggest expansion and its biggest numbers from Classic all the way through Wrath of the Lich King.
That's true.
That was when I was about 15 to 20 years old, when I was still in school and I didn't really have a job, you know, during the semesters. That means I had so much time that I could use to play World of Warcraft and still have other hobbies. I could still watch TV. I could still watch movies. But now my leisure time means that I have to pit World of Warcraft against, you know, painting miniatures or reading a book.
I told you.
God forbid I actually learn something instead of whacking away at gnolls for an hour a day.
Yeah.
And we also need to think about what happened when you got to the end game.
Okay.
I was a level 60 paladin.
Yep.
I was raiding Scholomance. I was going into Stratholme. I was raiding the Burrs, both L and U. Eventually, I joined a guild, and maybe once in a while, we could get it together enough to go into Molten Core on a Saturday evening.
All right.
I think I played that paladin for a good 3 or 4 months at level 60.
That's
and
good.
I did not get a single tier 0.5. I'm not even talking tier 1. I barely rated back in the day. I had no aspirations to get tier 1. But tier 0.5, the blues, the best blues you could get at level 60. I think it was Lightforge. Maybe. I can't remember exactly.
Actually.
I did not get a single blue for my paladin after playing for months.
Casuals.
At the maximum level. I don't know what I was doing wrong. Maybe I just wasn't doing anything right. I thought I was okay. We did all right. We didn't wipe too often. But the gear, it just wouldn't drop. Because remember, bosses would only drop like, you know, a couple pieces of gear.
That's right.
And if it dropped a priest, Spalders, and there wasn't even a priest in the group.
Yeah.
Well,
you should have brought a priest.
I guess someone's got to make use of it. It's not going to be me, not as a paladin. So the gear was an issue. But now, the gear's great. I haven't gotten to the end game content yet. But even in Wrath of the Lich King, getting gear was so fun. It was so cool. Even if the bosses didn't drop the items that you wanted, you could at least get the tokens. You could do the daily quests.
True.
You could build up currency and then buy the gear that you needed. I remember playing a druid. I got a druid to
like a great
level
idea.
80 or whatever the Wrath.
That's a great idea.
Was. And I was able to gear out my druid. I even think I got 2 sets for my druid.
Wow.
So that I could do, you know, the 2 different specializations. I could heal and I could do DPS.
Okay.
But even the shaman that I rolled, the level 60 shaman that I played for a few months, I was able to at best get 2 tier 0.5 blues after raiding for those months. And they weren't even 40-man raids. That was 15-man raids. You think people could gear up fast that way back in the day? No. They could not.
Okay.
So time and gear.
Yes.
My time now is scarce, and 15 years ago, the gear was scarce.
Yeah.
Now, the last warning I want to issue to those of you who will go and play Classic WoW when it releases next year, whenever it does, is I think you need to keep your expectations in check in terms of, I guess you could say, community.
That's true.
Now, you have to remember back...
Yeah, that is true.
In the year 2004...
Yes, that was a year.
We actually had to look around for people, not via the looking for group or the looking for raid, I guess you could say technology that they've developed over the last few years.
The bad stuff.
But you had to type in chat. You had to join a guild. You had to actually talk to people. Now, I do feel that that sense of community is lost in the current game. You join a dungeon group, and you're all kind of just walking together towards the end, but you're not really coordinating. You know, hopefully you've got a competent tank. I'm a warrior, and I still don't know how to tank. But hopefully your healer knows what they're doing. Hopefully your DPS can, you know, get in a few hits now and then.
All of these dramatic
and all together, you're not exactly coordinating, but you're just kind of running in the same direction and hoping you make it to the end.
You're all one direction.
Whereas back then,
it's his favorite band.
You had to steal tanks from other guilds. You had to steal healers from other guilds. You had to hope to God that someone was actually reading the general chat in Stormwind or wherever.
That's right.
You were looking for people. You actually had to coordinate your groups so that you could make it to the instance entrance.
Yeah.
You don't got to do that anymore.
No, you don't have to.
It behooved you to enter a guild
What?
So that you had a much easier time of forming these parties.
To make
To
friends.
do quests. To go into instances. To go into battlegrounds. And you made a lot of friends along the way. I did. I was a part of a couple guilds. One, when I first started out on my alliance,
I
human
love the
paladin.
way he talks.
We were the Angels of Vengeance. And
I like how he says it with
we
a
were
smile.
a merry band of warriors. We got into TeamSpeak. Remember TeamSpeak? There was no Discord back then. It was TeamSpeak.
Yeah,
You
I
hope
did
to
that
God
too.
that someone was paying the like $5 a month so you could host more than 5 people in a server.
Ours got shut down because we didn't.
I talked to a lot of people back then. I didn't really have a lot of friends at school, so I made internet friends.
What a surprise.
Who I never met in real life, but
Yeah?
I spent a lot of time talking to on those TeamSpeak or Ventrilo servers.
I did too.
Even in Wrath of the Lich King, where I was in college, I had more friends. I had a very tight-knit group of friends, but I was the only one who played World of Warcraft. But I made a couple of internet friends who I unfortunately don't talk to anymore. But I had people that I could rely on to go out and form parties.
Yeah.
And it was fun getting to know them and hearing the stories of, of their life and where they lived.
This is why not to play Classic WoW.
You don't really get that much now.
No, you
And
don't.
honestly, I need to warn you, when you look back with those nostalgic feelings to the times 15 years ago,
Okay.
you're probably not going to get that again, for one reason or another.
Okay.
First of all, the friends you had 15 years ago, unless you're extremely lucky, aren't going to be there. Your guilds from 2004, 2005 aren't coming back.
Actually, my guild might. Yeah.
And
Let's see what happens.
unless Classic holds, unless there's enough people to satisfy that demand and keep those servers full, I think people are going to have a hard time. Sorry. Someone just pulled up outside, and because of my paper-thin walls, I'm just hearing some J-pop as I'm talking about the nostalgic times of old. And so I want to warn everyone watching this video and thinking about playing Classic.
How could he identify
played
it's
Classic
J-pop
before-
instead of K-pop?
Remember how much it sucked.
Think about that.
And if you're going to get into Classic because you have never experienced it, you've been warned.
Is it really that funny?
I've been Jcontra. Thanks for watching. See you next time, and mahalo. See you next.
So this guy posts on Reddit. Like, let's just get that out of the way right now. Like, he really posts a lot on Reddit. Now, here's basically, like, how I feel, okay? I don't really... Like, I think it's important that he's going to give his opinion, right? Because everybody is, like, really on the, super, positive towards Classic, and sitting there and saying, like, negative things about it. I mean, you've got to expect Paul McConnell. All right, dude, you know what? I'll let him say it, okay? Yeah, I'll let McConnell say it right now. Just give me a second. Let me get in here. Yo, what up?
Test. Is it too loud, boys?
It should be just fine.
Dude, what is this guy like talking about? I mean, does he understand any real part of Classic?
Yeah, he does. He explained all the bad things about it at the end whenever he talked about having to interact with other people.
Oh my God, this guy's brain has been full of soy for about 15 years. Jesus Christ. Does he know how to talk? What's wrong with him? Has he ever made a video before? Sad.
I don't know, man. Like,
Is that how he talks to his figurines? Oh,
Yeah,
this
probably.
one looks very pretty today.
Yeah,
I'm going to paint him pink.
So
Like, come on.
Yeah, there's like Ganondorf or something like that. So do you think it's a troll? Yeah, it's really kind of hard to say.
I mean, people like this really do exist, so it's hard to say. Isn't there a law about that? Like fucking
Poe's
not
law?
Godwin, but yeah, Poe's law, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to tell anymore with these people. I mean, you got, people that think The Office and Cartman are bad, and you got the soy movement, and now this guy's popping up. Like, I don't know. It's hard to say, man.